One of the most important parts of messaging, of marketing, is actually headlines, because that's what stops the scroll. Every email that you send out, the subject line is technically a headline. Every ad that you post will have a headline. Every piece of content that you post will have a title. Every webinar you do will have a title. These are all headlines. And these are the things that stop the scroll. These are the things that get the initial interest into whatever you're doing, whether it's a funnel, a launch, a course, a program, whatever, it doesn't matter. The title, the headline that you use in all of those different areas literally makes a difference whether or not someone actually clicks and shows interest. If you cannot nail this, you're going to struggle creating content and generating sales. Now, as you guys know, we've been diving a little bit more into AI. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but what I want to do is guide you through how to use ChatGPT to craft some of the most powerful titles and headlines that you've ever created inside your business. So if that's interesting to you, well, keep on listening.
Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we are still diving into the AI arena. So as you guys can probably tell from a lot of our content, AI is something that we have been really diving into a little bit more, and is going to be a direction that we take inside of our company. And so not that we will be an AI company. What I'm saying is we are going to continue with the marketing and the messaging and teaching it, but how do we use and integrate AI to make the messaging process easier? And honestly, guys, this gets me really, really excited. And the reason why it gets me excited is because, I know there are people that listen to the podcast and get a framework or hear a concept and and it makes sense to them, but they still can't integrate it into their specific situation or scenario as well as they would like to. And we even have people who go through the program who get amazing results really quickly. But then we have people who go through the exact same training, have access to the exact same frameworks, the exact same scripts, and then they don't get results as fast. And the reason why, or one of the reasons why, there might be multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons why is that people's brains just work differently. Some people are more logical. Some people are more emotional. Some people use more of their left brain, right versus right brain, or vice versa. We all have better subjects in schools that we thrive in and some that we don't. And so what I've realized is that even though I can give everyone the right framework, the right processes, and this is also the same with you and your students, you can give 100 people the exact same training and resources, and then one person will complain and bitch and moan about it and be a victim of why they're not getting results. And then some people will thrive. Some people will try their darndest and their hardest, and they still won't get results as someone who didn't try as hard. Like, it's just all over the map for a lot of different reasons. And what I've realized is that the integration is actually one of the most important parts of a course or program, and the more resources and things you have in place to help people integrate things faster and easier is what's going to win. And so I think moving forward with AI really coming out of left field over the last year or so, what we're going to see is the person who has the best philosophy at what they're doing, or one of the best philosophies, or a really good philosophy to overcoming a problem or finding a solution, or the philosophy is the solution. The person who has that and combines it with AI in the right way to have results being delivered faster is probably going to be the person that wins. And that's the direction we're taking, is that with Built to Convert, obviously we're going to talk all about conversion messaging and teach conversion messaging and all the frameworks and persuasion and the titles and the topics and the frameworks and all of that stuff, right? Relevancy triggers. But also we're training and developing AI and different GPTs to be able to help you find out how to use those frameworks and those language patterns specifically for your business. How do we find the problems? Even sometimes asking someone like a simple question, like, what's the problem you solve? I've seen people work on that for months. And it's like, that should take you a day. like not months, right? But also there's a lot of testing and there's a lot of trial and error. And what we found is when you can use AI in the right way and you have the right prompts, it's been trained the right way, you have the right GPTs, like all of these things and even if you're just using ChatGPT, which has really nothing, it's just more or less like the search engine of AI, that can speed it up if you give it the right prompts. And then if you give it the right prompts combined with like a GPT or an AI or a bot or whatever it's been trained and programmed in a very certain way, you guys can get results a lot faster. And so that's what we're doing is inside of Built to Convert, we are creating AI and bots and GPTs for every single aspect of the business. So, we have training on offers. We have all your conversion messaging. We have training on webinars and how to run ads and how to create ads and how to create the copy and create the creative. And every single one of those has its own GPT, either does or will. Like we're in the process of developing that right now. So that gets me really excited because I want you to be able to get results quicker and faster. And what I wanted to do today is like really dive into one specific part of messaging that I think is really, really important. And then what we're going to do as well, for anyone that does want it, I actually put together prompts and a little training video on how to use ChatGPT to create really powerful thought reversals. And I'm going to give you guys that for $17 here today. We'll give you that link. Actually, I'll just give it to you now. It's brandonlucero.com / TRAI. So brandonlucero.com /TRAI. So for $17, you guys can get that if you want it. If you don't, no worries, but that is available for anyone that wants it. Now, what I wanted to do today is dive into how do we actually create really powerful headlines using AI. And so the thing with AI or ChatGPT or whatever it is you're using, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, it is not the solution. It is not the solution to figuring out copy or messaging or content. And like simply going to ChatGPT and saying, follow Brandon Lucero's philosophy for titles is one of the worst things you can do, because it's going to trick you into thinking that you are using my philosophy or our proven frameworks or language patterns when you're not, because it doesn't know it. And we've tested it over and over and over again. Even the stuff that I have online, all the frameworks that I have online that you can just Google or search on YouTube, ChatGPT still has them wrong. It doesn't have them right. So what I want to do is give you the framework to use for titles, because that's the thing with ChatGPT. You have to understand what you're doing. You need to understand the right messaging frameworks, the right marketing frameworks, the right language. You need to understand this. You need to understand the actual problems that you're solving for people. You need to know this. And when you do, and you combine that with the right prompts, you're going to get results that blow your freaking mind. And what's really great is that I've been playing around with this on ChatGPT. I would say it gets me about 70 to 80% where I want. But the thing that is awesome with it is that it also, if you do it in the right way, gives you ideas and angles that you wouldn't have thought of. You might need to rearrange the language a little bit, obviously, to really fit the right proper framework, but it will give you angles that you've never thought of before, give you different language that you're not used to saying, language that could work really, really well. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into how to create webinar titles or even ad titles or even email subject lines. So what I'm about to give you is how do you create a headline that could be a title for a piece of content, an ad headline, an email subject line that's going to be really powerful. Okay. So to give you the framework of what this is, so hopefully you can write this down. If not, when you are at a place you can write it down, I would write it down. But one of the webinar titles that I love using the frameworks is around the idea of how identity can get this benefit without dealing with the problem that you're dealing with, or doing the things you don't want doing. So like how identity can get this benefit without doing the thing you don't like doing the thing you hate doing the thing that just isn't working. So that title framework actually has 3 that title framework has 3 different relevancy triggers in it. And so what a relevancy trigger is it's language or words that when your audience hears it will build huge amounts of relevancy. They will feel like this is automatically and subconsciously, they will feel like this is geared towards them. So when I look at that framework, I go, okay, great. Well, how do I turn that into a prompt? I'm not just going to feed it the framework and say, figure it out for me. So in my first attempt, here's what I did. I turned that framework into a prompt. So if you guys remember, the 3 triggers were identity, specific benefit, and then the thing they don't like doing. So the prompt that I gave it was, I said, what's a good webinar or ad headline? And you can choose, don't put webinar or ad, just choose one of them. What's a good Facebook ad headline or webinar headline or title however you want to phrase that. But I used, what was a good webinar title for blank, which was identity. I used the identity course creators who are or is struggling. And then you're going to put the specific benefit that they want. So if they want more views on their content, I would put who's struggling to get more views on their content. Or if your person wants to lose weight, like 5 pounds, and be specific, like 5 pounds after having a baby 2 months ago, right? So what's a good webinar title for women who are struggling to lose 10 pounds after having a baby a few months ago, right? So you're going to put in struggling to get this benefit. So remember, it's the same framework, the same messaging framework for a really effective title. We're just putting it into a prompt. So what's a good webinar title for this identity who is struggling to get this benefit, but also hates, and then you're going to insert the thing they don't like doing or don't want to do, or the thing they are doing. So mine would say, what's a good webinar title for a course creator who is struggling to create content that converts, but also hates spending all day creating content and hates putting their best information out there and not getting any result? And so I did that. And that's the first part of the prompt. I did that and I just wanted to see what it would give me. And it gave me the title of how to sell more of your courses without endless content, even if you hate posting online, which I thought was okay. I'd give it like a 6 or a 7. I didn't love it. Didn't think it was great. It was just like, cool, that's fine. But then it gave me a few other ones. The no content strategy, sell more courses without being a full-time creator. Again, it's good, but it doesn't really hit what I'm looking for. The next one is content that converts without burning you out, a smarter way to grow your sales. The next one, sell your course without selling your soul to the content machine. Hate content. Here's how to create demand and sales without doing what you dread. The anti-content plan for course creators, make sales without constant posting. So, I mean, it's fine. I would say all of these are 6 or 7. So that prompt didn't really hit the nail on the head for me. So then I decided to give it 4 pieces of information. So my advice to you guys is keep the prompts the same. And again, I'm using ChatGPT for this, but at the end of the prompt, you're going to say, here is some information that will help you. And you're going to give them 4 pieces of information. Number 1, audience. So you're going to write audience, and then what your audience is. So you can put course creators or whatever it is. Number 2, you're going to say pain, and then you're going to put in 3 specific problems or pain points they're going through. So I wrote, they spend a lot of time creating content, but it never gets any sales or engagement. It's some of their best information, but it still doesn't go anywhere. And they spend so much time creating content that doesn't move the needle. That's the pain. The promise. Okay. So the third thing you're going to give it is the promise. What is the promise of this email, ad, or webinar? Tell it, what are they getting? Like, what are they opting in for? Or why would they click on the headline? So what's the promise of the headline? Just write promise, I wrote content that converts and gets sales and engagement, even inside of ads, and emails, and webinars. And then the 4th one you're going to want to put in there is relief. What are they relieved of? I put three, you could put 3 to 4 of them. Or 2 to 4. I put without, the relief is they can do this without needing to post a lot of content or create a ton of content. They can do it without having to spend a lot of time. They can do it without having to fail and without having to spend all day. Okay. So I added those 4 categories to that prompt. So I did the prompt. What's a good webinar title that is designed for a course creator who is struggling to create content that converts, but also hates creating content? You should let them know the major benefit that they will get that relates to their specific problem, but also tell them they can't get the results without having to do the specific thing they don't like doing. That's the prompt. Okay. So I'm going to say it one more time. What's a good webinar title for a webinar that's designed for identity course creators who are struggling? And then now you're going to put in the benefit that they want. Struggling to create content that converts, but also, now put the thing that they hate doing, hates creating content. Then you're going to add this line. You should let them know the major benefit they will get that relates to their specific problem, but also tells them they can get results without having to do the specific thing they don't like doing. Here is some more information to help you. Audience, course creators, pain, blah, 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 blah. Promise is this, relief is that. So when I put that information in and put that extra line in the prompt, remember I put that extra line, you should let them know the major benefit that they will get relates to their specific problem, but also tells them they can't get the results without having to do the specific thing that they don't like doing. When you have that extra line in there and you give them the extra pieces of information, these are the titles that I got. What to say to sell your course. Create content that converts without spending all day creating it. Like right off the bat, I thought that was amazing. Like that was really good. What to say to sell your course. Like that already is a really great promise. Like I'm just going to tell you what to say so that you don't even have to think about it. And then sales will just start to happen. That sounds great, right? Number 2, how to turn your best ideas into sales without posting constantly, burning out, or being everywhere. Number 3, the content shortcut, how course creators can get more sales with less content. That's also amazing. How to get more sales with less content. That sounds great. Because since I gave it the context of the problems and the relief, it's starting to craft things that I would have never thought of. From crickets to clients, the simple way to create content that converts without spending all day doing it. Next one, sell your course with less content, a proven way for course creators who hate posting but want results. Again, these are amazing headlines that talk about the actual problem. Like you don't need to post all day, but you get results, right? Why your best content isn't converting and what to say instead. That's also really good. I just really love these titles. So these are all like amazing. These are all content titles that could be amazing headlines, content topics, subject lines, whatever it may be. So I gave it the original prompt, which was just like a longer version of my framework, but then I added in that line to describe what it should be doing, and then gave it in those 4 main categories. And with that information, I have headlines and content topics and ideas that I probably wouldn't have thought of before, different angles or ways of phrasing things that I wouldn't have thought of before. And I hope this video inspires you guys to start trying this out, not as a replacement of you doing the work, but as something that can speed it up or help you get bigger results than you could have probably gotten on your own, or faster results, or just helping you find angles that you weren't seeing. So hopefully you guys like this episode. Like I said, if you want to craft a thought reversal, like one of the most powerful types of content we've ever created, we have that for $17. We have a training video and prompts and how you should be using ChatGPT to help you with the discredits. I mean, it will help you overcome and discredit beliefs that your audience are holding, how to overcome industry norms, all that stuff. Just $17. You can go to brandonlucero.com/TRAI. That's brandonlucero.com/TRAI. And I'll see you guys next week on another episode.
Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.